Thank you, Barry. Here we have the DMX70 controller, and basically this is expanding the already successful line of CHAUVET controllers. And it also gives the programmer the ability to reverse the sliders. And what I mean by that is if you have a dimmer and the fader is all the way down, the dimmer is typically at 0. It's off. But with this controller, you can switch that. So when the fader is down, the dimmer is full. It's ready to go. It's always open. It also has reassignable channels. What that means is if I have a min spot here where my pan and tilt is channels 1 and 2, and my Q spot that's sitting here is channels 13 and 14, I can actually take those and move them from 13 and 14 on the controller to 1 and 2. So as I'm bringing up 1 and 2, both fixtures, pan and tilt, will be synchronized together. From the face of the controller, you have 14 faders versus the standard controller, which has 8. So on top of those 14, and you also have a joystick, you have 16 channels right at your fingertips. We have a page up and a page down button, which allows you to access channels 17 through 32. So any fixture up to 16 channels is right here, right in the face, right in front of you, ready to go. This controller is also MIDI capable. So if you have a band or you need to trigger anything from a keyboard or using MIDI, it's ready to go right out of the box. Now let me show you some of the connections on the back. Here on the back side of the controller, we have our DMX output, we have our power input, we have a MIDI connection, and we also have a fog machine connection. Because on the face of this unit, we have a fog machine button, and if you're using any CHAUVET fogger, you simply press the button, connect it to the back, and outputs your fog. Okay? Now, let me explain to you some of the other buttons and the joysticks. Very similar to the current products in the CHAUVET line, or the controllers. You have your scene buttons here, 1 through 8. You have your chases, 1 through 6. You have your 12 fixtures on the way on the bottom. 14 faders, a single page button, which once again flips between page A and page B. You have your control buttons here, which allow you to add a scene, delete a scene, blackout, choose your banks. We have 30 banks in here. The thing is really loaded. You can set it to the audio. You can set it to automatic. Your joystick here. Your fog and strobe buttons on the bottom section. And 2 other faders here, which control your speed and your fade time. Now that you have a general idea of the controller, I'm going to program 8 basic steps for you using one of our min spots. All I need to do is deactivate my blackout by simply pressing the button. Press and hold the program for a few seconds, and the LCD display will read program. Simply select the fixture. This one is set at 1. And now I can use my joystick or my faders to move the fixture around. So here's the joystick. As you can see, the fixture is moving. I have this set in 5-channel mode, so I know that channels 3 and 4 are going to be my output. And you can see it outputting now. And let's see, I get the color that I want, I get the strobing that I want, and I like that. I'll add in a gobo. And now I need to press MIDI add, and then any number of the scenes. And I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but all of the LEDs that's on the controller actually blink 3 times for you, so that you know that that was saved. And I'll do it one more time for you. I simply move it. All right, and I change the color. I can change the gobo. I press MIDI add one more time, and I press number 2. All of the LEDs will flash on the board, indicating that a save was successful. And I would do that all the way up through 8. I can then change the bank. There's 30 banks to choose from with 8 scenes each. So you have 240 different scenes that you can program inside of this controller. Now let's assume that I'm done. I'm going to hold the program button a few seconds to exit. The fixture or the controller automatically goes into blackout, indicated here with an LED. I usually bring my faders back down again. Deactivate my blackout. And now I can set it to automatic mode. I can set it to music mode. I can even tap the button to the beat of the music. Now one thing this controller also has the capability of is programming a step time and a fade time into each step. So if I wanted this fixture to move every 5 seconds, I can program that in that programming scene you just saw. Or I can simply slow it down manually right here, and it would slow down. The speed and the fade time work with each other. So your speed, you can slow it down, or I can speed it up. And then the fade time will actually fade from one scene to the next. And if you have LEDs or a moving head, the pan and tilt will fade, and also the LEDs will also fade. And to wrap up this controller, We have reversible sliders, once again, so you can set your dimmer to 0, or you can set it to 100 or 255. You have assignable channels. We can move fixtures or channels 1 and 2 to 3 and 4, anything you want. You can line up your color wheels. You can line up your gobo wheels. It's a 32-channel controller per fixture, and it also has an assignable joystick, assignable to any of the channels. And it is pressure sensitive. So anybody that plays PlayStation or Xbox that moves the joystick a little bit, it's pressure sensitive, so it's going to move the fixture just a little bit. And that concludes the DMX-70, and we're going to go back to Barry in Studio A.
Thank you, Alan. That was an amazing, amazing controller. What do you think about it, Jeff?
Well, actually, I like its ease of use, simple programming. I mean, just to see him program it so quick and easily. You know, one of the things about being a mobile operator is you got to be able to replicate your processes. You got to be able to deliver a consistent show. You know, if a client books you, you know, every show's got to be on point. And you know, one of the ways to do this, of course, is having products that you can easily set up and move from location to location. Your venue changes every time, so yeah, you got to be flexible with that. You know, I mentioned earlier that we use a computer. One of the problems about using computer-based DMX is that you really have to have a lot of education on learning how to run that, how to program it. There's all these keyboard buttons, all these things on the screen, and now your average person isn't technologically able to understand all that. This is something simple. You can program it and basically send it out on a show and know that that anybody in your staff can run their show. What I like most about it, actually, that was something you mentioned, this really turns me on when it comes to that fixture, is the joystick and the ability to just isolate a single fixture. I mean, if I go into a bar mitzvah or a wedding and I have moving head fixtures up on trusses, one of the nice things would be to be able to just quickly isolate a fixture, use it as a follow spot, and bring the family in, you know, to bring the couple in on a follow spot, and to be able to just, you know, do it on the fly is an incredible, incredible option for something that's so simple. Again, something you need to be able to replicate, show your staff. So I really like that. And for mobile DJ, if you got to be a spinner, you got to be the DJ, you got to be the MC. In some cases, you got to do you know, multiple roles. You're a one-man show or maybe a two-man show. And if you have too much technology, it can be hard to operate. Where this keeps it simple, it allows you to program your show and your scenes, and just with just a few little changes, your crew can quickly change up their light show.
Well, thank you. Well, that was the DMX-70 we were discussing right there. But CHAUVET has other controllers, from the Show Express, which is a software-based controller, all the way down to the DMX-7, which is a very basic controller for starting out guys. You know, it's amazing. I'm sure they're showing you the pictures now so you can kind of see what they look like. But we have plenty of different controllers, and this is